You send one message, then stare at the screen like it is a tiny emotional campfire. A few dots appear, disappear, appear again, and somehow your whole nervous system becomes a suspicious little meerkat. Modern flirting can happen in silence, in private, with emojis, read receipts, screenshots, and the terrifying power of typing haha when nothing is funny. But for most of human history, there was no texting. There was no phone hidden under a blanket, no profile picture, no carefully delayed reply, no chance to rewrite the same sentence 12 times before sending it. So, if ancient humans liked someone, how did they flirt? The funny answer is, probably very awkwardly. The better answer is, with their whole life. Before texting, flirting was not something that floated inside a glowing rectangle. It happened in the open, near food, fire, water, tools, families, friends, rivals, and everyone else who could see you being weird. That matters because ancient humans were not usually living as isolated strangers meeting on a screen. They lived in small social worlds where people knew each other's faces, voices, habits, skills, tempers, and mistakes. If you tried to impress someone, you could not simply choose your best photo. The group already knew what you looked like when you were tired, hungry, scared, helpful, selfish, funny, or completely useless with a sharp rock. Ancient flirting was probably less about creating an image and more about being watched over time. One of the oldest forms of flirting may have been attention. Not the modern kind where attention means liking 3 photos from 2018 and pretending it was an accident. The older kind was simpler, looking a little longer, sitting a little closer, noticing when someone came back from gathering food, remembering what they liked, helping with a task that did not technically require your help. In a world without private messages, even tiny gestures could carry meaning. A shared piece of fruit, a repaired basket, a good place near the fire, or a joke at the right moment could say more than a paragraph of text. But ancient flirting was also risky because everyone had eyes. If you smiled at the wrong person, someone's cousin might notice. If you gave someone extra food, the whole camp might suddenly become a group of ancient relationship detectives. There was no deleting the message. There was only pretending you were definitely just standing near that person for no reason. Attraction probably involved the body more directly than it does on a phone. People noticed posture, movement, smell, voice, health, confidence, kindness, and how someone behaved when real work had to be done. A person who could track animals, carry water, calm a child, share food, make people laugh, or stay calm during danger was not just useful. They were also sending a signal. I am someone you can survive near. And in ancient life, that may have mattered more than a perfect opening line. This does not mean ancient flirting was cold or purely practical. Humans have always been strange social animals, and attraction is rarely just a checklist. People probably teased each other, showed off, made jokes, danced, sang, decorated their bodies, wore beads, used ochre, told stories, and tried to look a little more interesting than usual. Some of it may have been about beauty, some of it may have been about identity, and some of it was probably one ancient human thinking, I hope they noticed how casually I carried this enormous stick. Body decoration may have made flirting easier because it turned the body into a message. Before profile pictures, a necklace, a shell bead, a painted mark, a hairstyle, or a carefully placed feather could tell people something about group identity, skill, taste, status, or attention to appearance. Not every ornament was romantic, of course, but decoration gave humans a way to say, look at me, remember me, I belong somewhere, and maybe I am worth noticing. Movement mattered too. Long before someone could send a dancing emoji, actual dancing may have shown rhythm, coordination, confidence, stamina, humor, and social ease. Around firelight, a person could become more visible than usual. A clumsy dance might make people laugh. A confident dance might make people stare. And a funny dance might be the ancient version of sending the perfect meme. Voice was another kind of ancient text message, except it could not be unsent. The way someone spoke, sang, laughed, whispered, or told a story could pull attention toward them. A good storyteller did not just entertain the group. They showed memory, imagination, timing, emotional intelligence, and the ability to hold people together. In a world without playlists, podcasts, or group chats, a voice near the fire could be powerful. Flirting may also have happened through competence. Today, a person might try to seem impressive through photos, captions, clothes, or a mysterious bio. In an ancient camp, you might seem impressive by actually doing things. You knew where water was, you could make a tool. You could find honey without making bees ruin everyone's afternoon. You could share meat without acting like the main character of the forest. This is where ancient flirting becomes very different from texting. Texting lets people perform personality before behavior. Ancient life probably made behavior hard to hide. If someone was generous, people saw it. If someone panicked, people saw it. If someone was cruel, lazy, funny, brave, gentle, skilled, or annoying, people saw that too. Your reputation was not a profile. It was the memory of the group. That may sound terrifying, but it also meant attraction could grow slowly. Someone might become more appealing because they were dependable, because they shared food when it mattered, because they made winter feel less hopeless, because they knew how to turn a bad day into a ridiculous story. Before texting, chemistry may not have started with a clever sentence. It may have started with repeated proof that someone was safe to be near. Of course, we should be careful. No one can dig up a fossilized flirt. Archaeology can show ornaments, pigments, tools, graves, art, and campsites, but it cannot show the exact moment one hunter-gatherer tried to look cool and failed. So we have to combine evidence with caution. We can look at human evolution, living hunter-gatherer societies, body language, mate choice, music, dance, and the simple fact that humans everywhere use signals to attract attention. And the signals were probably not the same everywhere. Some groups may have allowed more individual choice, others may have involved families, alliances, customs, or arranged relationships. Ancient romance was not one universal movie scene. It was shaped by ecology, food, danger, group size, kinship, age, gender roles, and culture. So the real answer is not that ancient humans flirted in one perfect ancient way. The real answer is that flirting was woven into the social rules of each group. But one thing feels likely. Flirting was harder to separate from real life. You could not talk beautifully for 3 weeks while hiding how you treated people. You could not build a fantasy version of yourself through cropped photos and late-night messages. The person you liked could see how you moved through the world. They could see whether children trusted you, whether elders tolerated you, whether friends laughed with you, and whether you disappeared when work became unpleasant. That makes ancient flirting sound less glamorous, but maybe more honest. It was not always romantic. It was probably clumsy, public, embarrassing, and full of social pressure. But it was also physical, communal, slow, and deeply human. Before texting, love did not begin with a notification. It began with presence. Maybe someone sat closer to someone else near the fire. Maybe someone shared the better piece of food. Maybe someone sang louder than necessary. Maybe someone spent too long fixing a tool that was already fixed. Maybe two people looked at each other and then immediately looked away, because even without phones, humans have always been ridiculous. Modern texting gave flirting privacy, distance, speed, and 1,000 tiny ways to control the image we send. Ancient flirting gave people something else: context. You were not just words on a screen. You were a body in a group, a voice near a fire, a pair of hands carrying something heavy, a laugh at the edge of danger, a person remembered by others. So maybe the strange part is not that ancient humans flirted without texting. Maybe the strange part is that modern humans try to turn one of the oldest face-to-face rituals on Earth into a blinking message bubble. Texting made flirting easier in some ways, but it also made it lonelier, because long before the first heart emoji, humans were already trying to say the same thing in older ways. I see you. I remember you. Come sit closer.